Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My name is Bhante Buddharakkhita. I'm 23 years as a monk. I was ordained by Sadhu Usirananda from Burma, who passed away. I was ordained in California at Tathagata Meditation Center. After ordination, I stayed for a while at Tathagata Meditation Center and moved on to West Virginia later on under the permission of my teacher Sayadaw Usirananda, and I went to practice with Bhante Buddharakkhita from Sri Lanka. So after staying for a few years, in 2005, I returned to Uganda to establish the first and the only Buddhist center, and it's located in Entebbe, Garuga. When I started this center in 2005, there was no temple, there was no Buddhism in Uganda, so I started this from scratch. I remember when I was in Burma in 2003, 2004, one Sayadaw who was called Ulakana Sayadaw asked me, "Hey, Uganda Sayadaw, do you have a temple in Uganda?" I said, "No." He told me, Uganda started under the tree. So I went in Uganda with the Buddha statue and my alms bowl and the tent. I started the Buddhist center in a tent, which I would call mobile temple. I moved from place to place, and after a while my mother came and she joined me and said she said that she would like to become a Buddhist. So the second person joined me, my sister joined me, and my nephew and nieces. So in the beginning we have 5 disciples, just like the Buddha, so and me. So we continue on practicing under the tent, outside the tent, open space. Sometimes I rented the space. Finally we got some donation and we bought a land where the current temple is. In 2006, we shifted to Entebbe, and we have a permanent land with 2 acres of land, and we built a small temple, probably the smallest temple in the whole world was built there at that time, though now it was blown away, but we had the smallest temple in the whole world where we housed the Buddha statue. And later on, of course, we got more funding, and then we built the current temple as it is. Now, in the beginning, I had a lot of challenges. The first challenge is people thought that I'm a witch doctor, and they thought that I'm evil, so they didn't want to associate with me. My clothes, the robes, they look like the traditional African priests, so they thought that I'm a witch. That confirmed that I'm a witch. The alms bowl, they consider it a bomb. They thought it's a bomb. They were afraid of it. The fan for the monks, they say that it's a tennis for playing table tennis, lawn tennis. In my bag that I carry, they say I'm carrying medicine. They confused me from a Maasai tribe. So almost everything I had to start with was being misinterpreted by the local people in Uganda. Even in putting when I put the robe, full robe, and whereby we cover our hands, they say, "Oh, come and see the man with no arm." They thought I'm missing my arm. So children run away. They think I'm going to eat them. Really, children are afraid of me, in the very beginning. So it was a tough beginning, and I remember part of my early days were frustration, whereby there's no temple. I stayed in a tent, and it was raining sometime in the afternoon, evening. I remember one single day when it was late at night, 2-3 a.m. like that. It rained, and my tent was not waterproof, so then water was dripping in, and I had to leave my tent and go and stay under the tree. And later on in the morning, when it has been, the rain had cleared, I had to go and lift my tent from the ground so that it can dry. Then people came around, they say, oh, you know, how can you stay in a tent which doesn't touch the ground? Are you levitating? So they were confused there. So many challenges, but then I decided to register the organization, because to start a temple, it has to be registered by the government. So when I went to the offices to register the center as a non-government organization, the people ran away from their offices. And then when I reached the desk, there was nobody. And later on, they gathered enough effort and courage to come back to their tables, and they say, "Oh, we thought that you're a witch." Yeah, for us, we're afraid of witch doctors. Then I gave them my papers for registration of the center, and then we managed to register it. Yeah, at some point when I was registering the organization, they asked me, what are the rules that you follow? I told them that we follow precept, not killing. They said, stop. Not killing? You mean you cannot defend yourself? We are not going to register this organization. So the very thing that we are talking about, virtues of not killing, for them they say you should kill. We are not going to register you because you cannot even defend yourself, you cannot defend the country. Yeah, so it was a very big frustration, but finally I overcome it. And of course there was an attempt on my life at some point, and I escaped that attempt on my life, and I survived. And it was the protection of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha that I survived, and I feel that I'm continually protected by the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. That's what I'm doing. Now, that's about establishing the center. Now, once I have established the center, we have a small temple and the Buddha statue installed there. So it was vandalized. They thought that we are kidnapped a baby. And we've kept it inside. The Buddhist people are cruel. There's a baby inside. The army people came, broke into the temple, looked for the baby. They could not see the baby. They were so frustrated also. They were frustrated. They sit down and had beer until the next day. And then they left. When I came from USA, they say, well, the temple was vandalized. There was no door. So we had to repair the door and put it back. Yes, so, and later on also they are very curious. They hit the ventilation and it broke. The ventilation fell into the Buddha and it broke pieces from the Buddha because it was not made of metal. It was fiberglass, I think. And it just got some damages, people breaking into the temple. Those days, there was only my mother and my assistant and me. And that time, when I got to United States, my mother would stay there with one of our tenants. So it was a small operation. But later on, that was 2005, 2006. Later on, I found out that the way forward is to start a school where we can teach children, especially nonviolence. Every time I was walking through the village, when I was walking through the village, I would see children throwing stones to the dogs. I asked them, why are you throwing stones to the dogs? No, they had no answer. So then I decided to really teach the children around the village to practice non-violence, not killing and not torturing living beings. I started with that intention of also teaching children some English language, because children were not going to school, they were violent. So the first children were about 5 children, mainly my nieces and nephew, and a few children from the village. So the number kept on growing. In 2008, again the school was under the tree, and the tent later on, we got a tent from India, some Nepalese person gave it, and then the school started in a tent. So like the school went on for a while, but the problem, I was traveling a lot between Uganda and the other countries, so I was not there most of the time. And whenever I came, I would teach the children stories from Sigalovada Sutta, Jataka so Jataka stories. So I saw the interest of children coming to associate with the temple. But the grown-up people, they didn't want to come to the temple. They say, oh, this new religion is evil, you know. So what I did is to establish a borehole so that the adult people can, adults can get water from the temple, and at least they associate with us that we have compassion in action, and the adults were getting water, the young people were getting education. So then later on we established temporary structures where we actually had the preschool with 12 children officially registered. So the school went on for a few years, only 12 children. So the parents brought their children. Other parents said, no, don't take the children. They're going to be sacrificed. They're going to be cut off their head, and they're going to be killed. So they withdrew their children from our school. So then it was so difficult trying to help people who don't want to be helped because of their beliefs. Yeah. So then that was it was a tough period whereby we are willing to help, but people think that we are evil. So then I established projects like water projects. So I had more boreholes to give the village more clean water. So that's the past. When we gave the people clean water, the more they got to understand us that we are very kind people. So more people join us. Then I established what we call Women Empowerment Project. Women came and learned skills like tailoring with sewing machines. We bought sewing machine. They learned how to tailor clothes, sewing the clothes. Then we established Compassion Care Center, whereby children who are lost their parents, they come to the temple. We gave them food. 20 of them, they are just getting food from the temple and go back. So more parents get to know that we are not evil. Then we had other projects like giving food to people who are hungry. Then the school, more children are coming. They start now begging me, please, can we have our children? I said, no. You took your children because we are evil, but now we stay with only 12 children. Later on I say, okay, after a couple of years, I said, now, let me open it. So then they brought their children, and we are like 85 children now, you know, from 12 to 85 children now. So now later on, those children, when they passed from preschool, we had to take them primary school. Then we didn't have a primary school, so we built a primary school. And then the primary school, we have only a few children, handful of children, 12 children. And then we built a high school, but to operate it was financially difficult. So then what happened is we got some funding to repair the buildings and establish a school, which is now 155 children in the primary school. Now once we established a primary school, our children did so well, the novice monks, and they passed with flying colors. So one of them I took to Sri Lanka, but we cannot take all the children to Sri Lanka. So I decided to establish a high school. Now our high school, it has 40 students. So that's more of the past. Now we come to the present. The present is now we full-fledged school where we are offering good education services underpinned by good values from Buddhism, compassion, from Africa, unity and community, creating a sense of community. Ubuntu Bula means we are interconnected and interrelated. So in other words, our school values, we are three of them. One is from African side, we have values of Ubuntu, which is very African. We incorporate them in our school, current school. We have the Buddhist values of 5 precepts, ethical conduct, compassion, basically the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha's teaching. We also teach the children. We teach them Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Qigong. Then that's the second leg of our philosophy of the school. Then the third one is the national curriculum. We embrace the national curriculum of Uganda. So those three things are very unique to our school. Then as far as the way how we want to integrate this value into our society in Uganda, we are having always once a year, at the end of the year, Thanksgiving, we hold what we call annual ethical peace camp, where we offer this opportunity to children around our community to come and experience firsthand these values, the values of Ubuntu, African values, and the values of African, Buddhist teachings. So then we call them, we have themes mostly from Africa, but when it came to really real conduct, we mix them a lot with Buddhism, like mindfulness, meditation, like this. So then the children like it very much because we see increasingly more children coming. This year we had 210 students, and then when you add the old one all together, we had 275 children training in this ethical camp. Children always come and stay for 5 days, maximum 7 days, and then they eat very well. We teach them our African values, and we teach them Buddhism, especially mindfulness. They eat very well. They have games they play, and at the end of all this program, we ask them, who want to go home? Nobody raised their hand. Who want to stay? All of them raised their hand. So we have seen children actually changing from their schools. They say, for us, we don't want to go back to our school. We want to stay here. We want to be permanent novice monks, like this. So this has been a very successful program. In a way, it's actually our PR, whereby people get to know us, because in the beginning, it was only our school. At the end of the year, our school will have attend this annual camp, but now we open it to the whole community around us, the schools around us. So now that's the present activity we have. We are training novice monks and novice nuns, and it's very successful. We have seen that we have more demand than our facilities. So in fact, now we are being challenged where to house the children. So that's our current problem, is how to create housing conditions and facilities to really cater for the large number of people who want to join us, especially parents. They say, for us, we are not going to join Buddhism. Our religion, we're already done, but we want our children to come to the temple and be trained in Buddhist values. And that's very touching to see parents who are very honest and say, for us, we are not going to join you, but our children. They write letters because we don't allow these children to join us until we ask them the reason why they want to join us. When we ask reasons why children want to join us, from the children's side, they say, for us, we meditate every day. We also, for us, you're training us in moral conduct, good behaviors. These are children. Of course, there will be few children who say, oh, for us, we want good food. That's very normal. But for me, when the children themselves say that we want to stay here because you are teaching us good behaviors, that's exactly what you are doing. So that's the present time. We have about 75 novice monks and nuns. They all go to school. We have even the youngest one in preschool. Then we have my mother, who became a nun in 2008. She's the first Buddhist nun in Uganda. We have my sister joined to become also a nun this year. We have nuns from Burma, two nuns from Burma who helped me to train the nuns. And then we have a monk from Burma, Venerable Pandicha, who came to train also the monks. But of course, with our helpers, we have people from Singapore helping us, people from Burma like Dakamaji, Kao, who came for this ethical camp, and Dakaji, Henry, and this Dakaji, Ronald. They came all the way from San Francisco to help us during this ethical camp. So that's what's happening now. Now let's go into the future. The future really is bright, since we have already overwhelming people who want to help, who want to join in Uganda, want to join Buddhism, We have even a center in Kampala that is being leased for that. So the future would like to have a center in Kampala for those people who cannot come to Entebbe. We want to open many centers in Uganda. We want to open, at least in a foreseen future, we have we have a potential to open about 10 branches of Uganda Buddhist Center. So for us to do that, we need funding. That's one part of the future, is to open more centers so that people cannot come to Entebbe, they can practice in those places. We bought some of the land in these places, but we'll need funding to build those branches actually, so that we increase, we kind of make it accessible to people, because people every Sunday they cannot come to Entebbe. The whole country in Uganda, they cannot all travel to Entebbe. But if we can open branches in those places, we will see Buddhism in the next 20 years really flourishing. That's the first thing. Second, we need to empower Uganda Buddhist Center, and we are now doing what we call building a high school. We have started constructing the high school. Is going to be 2-story building. We got some funding that can take us to maybe the 2nd-story building, at least second floor. So once we have a school going on, that will be more students coming in. So we need, the future requires us to have more dormitories, to construct dormitories, more classrooms, kitchen, so that at least the school is fully functional. Now we are just constructing the school block, so it's not yet fully functional, but we need to construct dormitories, especially for the girls. We need to construct a preschool, because all the preschool buildings are temporary. It's just only wooden structures. And then the primary schools also, we need to construct the primary school, because the primary school also is also in temporary structures. And when you have temporary structures, the government cannot give us a license. So in other words, our current problem is that all our students we teach, we have to take them to another center which are permanent structures. But once we build a permanent structure for the schools, we'll have a license, our children will be sitting the examination at our center. So the future holds to really bring in and train more monks, and we'll need more monks to come from Burma, and more nuns come to Burma to help us, because our novice monks are still young. They cannot train others. So at the moment, in the next 5 years or 10 years, we need to really get in more monks, especially from Burma, because I was ordained by a Burmese teacher. I want to keep that tradition. I need to get more monks and nuns from Burma and reside at Uganda Buddhist Center to help me train these novice monks and novice nuns. So now, the next 20 years to come, I see Buddhism flourishing not only in Uganda, but also in Africa, because Uganda is very small. So we see ourselves not as establishing Buddhism in Uganda alone, but also sending students, like the Buddha had 16 arahants, and send them around the world. For me, I'm following the footsteps of the Buddha. I would like to send my missionaries to the entire Africa. Africa has 54 countries. Now I'm in Uganda. So I would like to live long enough that in the next 20 years, we have disciples from Uganda Buddhist Center sent to every African country, and we have at least one temple in each African country. When I do that, I'll be very happy monk when I'm walking with the mystics when I'm old, but I know that every African country has monks that came from Uganda. So with that, I'd like to express my gratitude to all our supporters from around the world, especially Asia, where I associate a lot, where I spend a lot of time. And to be more specific, people from Burma, people from Singapore, from Malaysia, and around the world. But I'm really offer this thanks, because always I'm with those people and they have supported me a lot. So I'm going to bless them, or wishing them long life, and which is Chatalo Dhamma Wantante Aiwano Sukambala, wishing them long life. And then before I do that, expressing my gratitude, I like to encourage people to join us in whatever way they can. They can visit us, stay with us, and enjoy the beauty of Uganda, but also come and volunteer at Uganda Buddhist Center, and then encourage also people. The Ugandan people, when they see people from overseas, like from Burma, they get inspired that, oh, we are doing the right thing. I like to go to Burma. So that one also, I really encourage people to do that, to support us, volunteering, and contribute to the growth of this, because this is a big project, because it's not only Uganda, it's all Africa. So it's quite a big project. So I'll give you my website. Our website is called www.Uganda Buddhist Center. With the center spelled CEATER.org. There you'll find how to volunteer, how to support our noble cause, to make sure that Buddhism, at least in this time, goes spread throughout Africa. Because this is 2,600 years ago since Buddhism started. But in Buddhism in Africa is still very little. So let me chant to bless all of these people with long life, happiness, beauty, and spiritual strength. Sabitio vivajantu sabarogo vinasatu mateva wantantarayo skidiga yuko bava abivada nasiri sani chavuda pachaino chataro dama wantante ayuano sukambala bawat sabamangara rakantu sabadevata sababudanu bavena sabadamanu bave sabasanganu bavena sadasoti bawantute. My thanks also to Burmese supporters, my beloved Burmese supporters. I would like to thank them very well. May they be well, happy and peaceful. I would say chama chapaze, chanda chapaze, ni bau yap chapaze.